I've made a lot of money, like I didn't think it was possible.
1.8 million in less than a year?
Yeah.
How much did you do the full? We're basically at 2 million here.
The only thing I actually have done the past years, I think if I didn't have joined the mentorship back in October in 2022, I don't think I had been full-time now, and I still think I've been working at my 9 to 5.
Then let's get started right away. You already have been on the channel, I think, 2 times.
Yeah.
And yeah, we've completely forgot to celebrate the milestone over here on the channel. You hit 1 million.
Yes, finally.
Yes, let's go through the process. How did everything go? Since, let's just say last time we talked here on this channel was like 200K you made. What changed since then? How much did you do? How did everything go, etc.?
Yeah, I mean, I've made a lot of money since then. Like it's been really crazy. I don't know if you remember, but we had like, I think the month after we did the interview, we had a really big dip again. So like it went down to, the profit margin was really low the next month. Yeah, then I pretty much switched suppliers. I got even better at making creatives, and then things just went crazy the next few months.
So maybe let's go through
That's pretty,
screen share, and then we can go
I think
from
this
the
is from
beginning.
last time we talked, maybe a little bit before the last.
Nice. So 1.8 million in how much? In less than a year?
Yeah.
How much did you do the full year? Do you hit the 2 million?
No. Very close. Very close. So we started around January, and then this year it's very close to 2 million. It's probably gonna be there in a few days, I think. Yeah.
I should have waited like 5 days for the interview. Anyways, let's say it's 2 million. Fuck it. So
Yeah,
we're basically at 2 million here.
Yeah.
Every month on a pretty consistent basis here, it's making, like on a low month back in the day around 100K, now at least 200K. First of all, how are the margins here?
Overall, we're looking at a 19.1%. The product is a little bit seasonal, so the profit margin was actually higher before we got into November and December, because you can't really, I mean, you can use it, but it makes more sense to use when there's warmer outside. So we were running around 15%. So it decreased it a lot, but 19% on the almost 2 million.
I see. So around 400K in terms of profit.
Yeah.
So very first of all, how is that? Like it's obviously your very first year seeing these kind of numbers. How's life? Did it change?
No, that's actually the funny part. I didn't change any like ways of doing things. This amount I made will last me. If I didn't make any more, it will last me the next 5, 6, 7 years almost. So you're a lot more calm in your everyday life. You don't really think about stuff too much. It's very comfortable feeling having this made this amount in such a short period of time.
So you're saying that the comfort levels went up. Did that impact the you doing business in any way? Like, did you start chilling more, or are you still on the grind?
I'm still working a lot, but you can actually feel the difference from when not having a lot of money to now. You tend to be a little bit more chilled also on the weekends, but also just in the everyday work life, because you just, like when you open up your bank account, it sits like, 250 grand just staring at you on that one account. You get comfortable. But now I'm trying to get back into it, like really grinding.
Bro, you need to start spending more. And the comfort is gonna go away. I noticed this with me when I started having like pretty high responsibilities in terms of consistent monthly like expenses. Motivation goes up again. Like motivation definitely goes up again when you basically start pressuring yourself into understanding, all right, like if something dips, it's gonna be tougher, So first of all, bro, you should be spending. You should not live like a student.
The only thing I bought in the past year is a MacBook. That's the only thing I
really bought. Everything is just
everything is just sitting in accounts, waiting to be spent.
Okay, so let's go through the process here. Getting from 200K to 2 million, a big jump. So what do you do? And especially considering that it's all one store.
I mean, the only thing I actually have done the past year's creatives. That's what I believe now is the only way you're gonna take like a good store to like a store that's doing crazy numbers. Like that's the only way you can do it. So in the past year, I think I've tested. At this point, I don't even want to put a number on it. I've at least 1,000 creatives I've tested. That's the only reason why it's still running the way it's running.
Mhm.
Otherwise, it would be dead a long time ago.
I mean, let's go through this process of testing creatives. Of course, obviously, in the beginning, I think huge shout out goes to Yoni for doing
Yeah,
a
for
lot
sure.
of
Yeah,
like spending a lot of time with you in terms of
for
creatives.
sure.
Let's talk about that, and then also how many are you testing on a consistent basis? Where do you get them from, and how do you know what's good and what's bad, etc.
So in the beginning, I think I was talking with Yoni every second day. I think just to get his input and his advice on creatives and what I should do. Because really, in the beginning, I didn't know anything, to be honest. Like when the first 10 creatives I tested, other than the first original three, was quite bad compared to how they are now. Doing a script, and I was showing him the script, doing revisions, then I would create the creative, and I will come back with the creative, and he will do, you know, review the creative, and I will change accordingly to whatever he told me. And we did this for, I think, a month and a half or something like that, very, very consistently. And after that, I had made, few, maybe 100 creatives, and now I was starting to get a hang of it. And then I could start testing myself. At this point, I was starting to know what was kind of good, but I still had to get some feedback from Facebook. I think after testing maybe 150, 200, the winning percentage of creatives just went like it skyrocketed. Like I was starting to get really good at it.
What would you say? What makes a good creative?
It really depends because I have a lot of different variations in my creatives, but one thing that is very, very certain is that the creative speaks to a specific audience. For me, at least, that's what made the difference. The persona who needs to buy this product really is aware from the get go, just by the first 3 seconds of the video.
Well, for sure. I think obviously the first part of the creative is obviously the most important by far. And then just directly talking to exactly who you want to talk about. And it has to spark something in their head, either curiosity or like, oh my God, this is so cool, or I need it. Something they need to think. It needs to be emotional and not just like they see it and then they scroll past like every other fucking video.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to say, but that was better worded.
Yeah, it's just making a person interested. Like that's the
Yeah,
main part, and more specific, making your target audience interested. Obviously, you cannot just have like random clips from Mr. Beast or like just general stuff, right? In the beginning, because then
yeah,
they are interesting, but they are too broad. And what Facebook sees is who stops scrolling, who watches how much of your video, who clicks. They see everything, they track everything, and they know everything. And you just need to give them enough data to actually make that work. Obviously, you tested a lot of creatives. How many of them are successful? Just so people understand what's realistic.
I would say at this point when I'm testing creatives, I actually have a really, really high success rate. There's also a difference between having a really good creative, like it's really, really profitable, and just one that's performing okay. So I would say profitable creatives I have around 15%, actually 20%, and really good creatives is around 10%, a little bit below. Like those where you can instantly just scale them up to like 1K a day in a few days.
And when you started out, how was it in the very beginning?
Like testing creatives,
Like how many tested creatives until you find a good creative on average in the beginning? In the first, let's say, first 300 creatives.
yeah, that was around a little bit below 10%, like eight
Oh,
eight
okay.
percent, I would say. Like that was a pretty low
Yeah.
low number. Like it was not the best.
So, besides the creative part, what did you learn about business overall? You're in business now, you actually own a profitable business for a while. So, like, what were the biggest business learnings overall?
That's a pretty hard question, I would say. I would say the first lesson is be on top of your numbers. Know your numbers when you're on high scale. It's very important when you're starting to scale up.
Yeah.
You should know your numbers like in your head. Like you should be waking up in your sleep and you'll be able to tell every single number that's important regarding your business. Um, there's one thing I learned recently, which I didn't take advantage of before now, and that's team building. That's one very huge mistake I made, like really big mistake, even though you told me and Yoni told me a lot. Because the biggest mistake I did was trying to do everything by myself just to keep the profit I was making, because it was nice to get all this money. But sometimes your time limits you and you can't really go higher than your time allows you to do. So that's one very important lesson that I've learned recently.
You have a cap in your day at the most productive person ever can work 12 hours a day. And that's already insane. Like 12 productive hours every day is ridiculously high. Most people don't like cannot do that, but let's imagine that is the case. Okay, so 12 hours is your cap. Or you could hire two people who are also going to just work 6 hours a day, and you work 6 hours a day, and all of a sudden you have 18 hours, which are work. Spending a couple of thousand on two employees, which are going to work 12 hours for you, and then you working 6 hours, so 18, is so much easier than actually being able to productively
Yeah.
work for 12 to 18 hours. If you do something, doesn't matter what it is, and you have to come up with an idea and then also do it, it's 10 times more difficult, and you're probably not even going to start doing it because you understand not only the idea, but also the execution is on you. When you just have to come up with a thing and tell your employee, make 30 videos a week, I don't care how. And then they're basically like, yeah, I don't know how to do it. And then you just figure it out. I don't care. Do that. And then I did it as well. Do it. And then they make it work. And then you do revisions. And it's so much easier because then you can basically actually try to have like really good deadlines and stuff like that. It's very easy to set standards lower and have lower deadlines and all these things when you're doing things by yourself. So everybody, literally everybody who is already making some money has to build a team. And finally do understand it after $2 million in sales.
Yeah,
um,
it's it's a little bit late,
a little bit
but
late.
yeah.
Yeah, but it is what it
Should
is.
probably have done it a million ago, but that's how it is.
Yes, yes. So what's the plan with that now?
I mean, we are taking a little bit slow. We have hired now a few product researchers because that's when the most time it takes time to product research. So that was really easy to outsource. Just have to someone to do a lot of volume. And then we got an editor now. I onboarded him today. Actually, he's actually really good. He made the first video today, and he's actually really good. So that's really nice.
Yes.
And then I'm gonna start finding people who can launch products for me as well.
Mhm.
That is the idea, at least. So yeah, I want to have like 3 to 4 people, so I can almost like they will be doing everything by themselves, and I just have to spread out things to do, and then do like the whole overview kind of thing.
Exactly.
I think that's what I'm gonna try to build in the next few months.
Yeah, and this is the next step up, where basically all of a sudden the things happen as they happen, but you just don't have to do the things you do. And that's going to be actually freeing. And you should definitely, like, I'm genuinely serious here, you should be spending more money. This is all tied together, like with employees, not
Yeah,
only with employees, but also with private stuff. When other people are starting to do things for you, then it gets easy to chill. Then you're going to be
yeah,
so tempted to not do anything because the thing rolls. Products are tested. You just have to work for an hour a day, and it's genuinely difficult then to keep working. And the only like way to do it is just set your standards higher for life.
yeah.
In terms of spending. That's just my advice here to you.
The whole team building thing, I totally neglected it for some reason. I don't know why I did it. Finding like, I don't know, 40 to 50 products a day, and I just have to look, see, okay, this is good, and then I can start preparing things. So when I find someone who's starting to prepare things as well, I just have to approve things. Like that's gonna be the next level, and
Yes.
I feel like that's what I have to do to get to the goal of 100K profit a month. That's the only way I will reach it.
100%, 100%. And currently, on average, how much profit a month are you doing?
I would say the past 6 months I've been making at least 30K. I would say on average 33K.
And you never had any urges to spend anything?
No, yeah, I wanted to. The Danish krone is very cheap compared to dollars and euros. So when I had the first million of my own currency in my bank account, I was really tempted to go buy a little bunch of shit like a Rolex, cars, and just spend like crazy. But I don't know why I got so frugal when I like. It's really weird, a weird feeling. I've never had so much in my life, and when I finally got it, I don't want to spend it. Like, it's really weird.
Oh, what do you
So
need it for? The only thing you can do it with it is spending. So go
yes,
ahead.
that's true. That's true. It's yeah. So now instead of spending it on myself, I'm gonna spend it on building the business. I'm just gonna reinvest every single dollar I have now, I don't have to, but I mean, it's still sufficient at this point. But
Mhm.
still,
No, but do both.
I
Also spend for
yeah,
yourself, for friends, family. Try to spend. Try like actively set yourself a budget, which you have to spend.
yeah,
Like
yeah, just yeah, maybe
minimum 20% of your profit, like 6K a month minimum every
yeah,
month, just spending
yeah,
on bullshit or like
yeah.
whatever you want. You're gonna see it like you maybe don't see it now how anything would be better, but I would say it's gonna be better.
I think I'm gonna move country. I think that's the
Oh
main
yeah.
goal. So
Where do you want to go?
I've heard Portugal should be pretty cool to live in. So I want to have the team build and be like a real pro businessman before taking such a big jump. But that's my goal for this year. So I have something to go for, right?
Hmm.
It's I feel like that's also really important to have.
Yeah, for sure. Was it like looking back into the very beginning of you doing dropshipping or starting dropshipping? Was this ever something you thought is possible? Like, do you think you actually can hit those numbers which you're doing right now?
I don't know. It's really I've thought about this a few times actually, what my expectations were when I started to get into this,
Hmm.
and no, I thought like I would be like get to like 5 to 10K profit a month, but that would be the limit. Like I would never be able to do something like this. Like I didn't think it was possible. It's really weird to think about like 2 million. It's a fucked amount, and then the profit as well. Like it's weird.
You said like your next goal was 100K profit a month, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you think something is going to change with that?
I I'm actually not sure. I think at this point I'm probably gonna start spending a lot more money. That's the main thing. But other than that, no. I want to take care of my parents. Make sure that they don't have to work so much. Like I want to give them some kind of role inside the company so I can pay them some money as well. So I think that's gonna be the biggest change when getting to those amount of numbers.
Mhm. I think that's possible after 50K profit a month.
Yeah.
But obviously, like taxes, you know. So, do you guys have that in Denmark, or is it not that bad as in Germany?
No, it's really bad. It's like 50%.
Yeah, same.
Well, it's actually funny because have you ever seen? There's a video, like a reel with Andrew Tate. He says, "Don't get legal before you have made $1 million."
Hmm.
And I actually took that advice very. So I got my first accountant after 1.5 million in sales, and that's that's also a really big mistake. Don't do that. Don't do that.
Bro,
If you,
this thing, it just sounds cool. It's not cool at all to
yeah,
do that.
no. No, it's not even like it's actually pretty stressful. It's not even funny. Like it's pretty stressful. So I'm cleaning up now. We are getting things fixed. When you're made, I would say around 10K in profit, maybe you should probably get an accountant. Maybe even before that.
No, that's the number. Yeah, like
Yeah,
somewhere around there.
yeah.
This Andrew Tate
Um,
statement is insane, and
bro,
I can resonate with it so much because I was dumb enough to think like that before he even said it. Like I just started getting legal after maybe like 400 or 500K, something like that,
yeah,
and it crushed me,
yeah,
and
yeah. I'm
the
gonna have some long accounting weeks.
yes,
It's gonna be fucked.
yes, I literally had to take I think a month off and just do accounting with
Yeah.
two other people. It was the worst.
That's
Um,
probably also what's happening. I probably I thought about hiring someone maybe too, like from Upwork,
you
like a
should,
few dollars an hour just to do it.
yeah. You just need to think about the tax government people as real people. Like taxes are checked by actual people. So just think about this. You're the government, you're the person who's checking taxes for every citizen. There's a guy who made $100 and that's it. And basically, off those $100, he profited $2 probably. What the fuck do you want to tax these $2 for? This is not worth my time as an employee for this company, right? It doesn't make sense. I don't care. It's whatever. Fuck it.
Yeah,
On the other hand, there's another guy who made $1.5 million, didn't file shit, And that's kind of fishy. So then you actually start thinking and trying to investigate and trying to see what's going on. For you, how do you envision this same road, just doing everything by yourself? What do you think? What would have happened if you just did the entire same thing just by yourself?
This is also a really good question, because I recently talked with my brother about this, because he's doing the organic route now as well, so we have a little bit more to discuss. And complete honesty, I think if I didn't have joined the mentorship back in October in 2022, I don't think I had been full time now, and I still think I've been working at my 9 to 5, and I am 100% sure that I've lost more than I had paid to be in the mentorship.
Yeah.
Like 100%
Yeah.
guaranteed. Maybe 4 times as much I would have lost, because I would have kept going, because I knew I wanted this. I knew I wanted to make it work. So if I had done it by myself, I just kept spending money, and I don't think I would have learned.
What were the main game-changing parts? Like obviously along the way there were different things. So let's walk maybe through the timeline of what actually was the advice, what made the most more impact.
I would say in the beginning, just the whole concept of it, of what you're looking for, what you're trying to do. It's like, sticking to one strategy, doing things over and over again until it works. I think that was the biggest game changer, because in the beginning I was just, doing TikTok ads, Facebook ads, different strategies, and nothing was working. So when I had something I knew I had to do, like this was the one thing I had to do, it was so much easier to get shit done, because this was the thing I had to do until it worked. So that was 100% the first thing. Then just understanding, like getting feedback on the things you're doing and learning from them, was probably the second thing that was really, really important. Finding products and then getting products approved, and then asking why they were approved, was also really, that's the feedback thing that was really, really important. Yeah, I think that was the two biggest things: having a clear route, and then getting feedback on the steps you are on the route. That's probably the two main things that really made it.
I agree. Like two things specifically about like inside of the strategy was most likely number one, the offer, number two, the product in the
Yeah,
beginning, and then later on is just like was just first me and you telling you, all right, now it's the time where you have to test a shit ton of creatives and you actually executing on it. And there's not a lot of
yeah,
people who executed like you did, because you actually took that advice and you were like, all right, they say I need to test like 20 to 100 creatives a month, and you did it, right? Like that was a very consistent thing you did over the last like year, just testing
yeah,
and testing and testing. And then for context, you were talking about Yoni earlier. That's my brother, and basically he's literally the go-to when it comes to all the creative stuff, all the average order value stuff, those things. He's just like
facts.
amazing at that. Told you, all right, change this. I don't like this. I like this. I like this. I don't like this. And like it took a long time. It took like a month or a month and a half, as you said, of
Yeah,
revisions until you started to understand what is good. And then you were able to do things more by yourself, where basically you were able to have the eye of what a good creative is, what a bad creative is. And I think you did a phenomenal job at just volume, just pushing through with volume and having the volume being of quality as well.
yeah.
So yeah, those are just probably the main two things you did really well. If you think back into just starting with dropshipping, was that the only option, or did you consider doing like other business models or other things generally? What was the thought process you had when you just started out?
I I probably have a little bit more funny story than most people, because I didn't really think about anything. Like I just didn't want to do stuff I didn't want to do. so I didn't really do much research. It was just my brother who said dropshipping. He also asked me back in 2017 if I wanted to start with him back then, because he was not old enough to do anything, because he was 13, 14. But back then I didn't want to do it, because I had a lot of things going on. Yeah, I just didn't want to work, and I didn't want to go to school. And he said dropshipping, and I was like, okay, let's just start. And I started, and I never stopped. I never looked back.
Dropshipping sounds really cool, actually. Like if you just think about the concept itself, like in the beginning,
Yeah.
it sounds like amazing, right? Like you just wait, you don't
Yes,
have to
it
even buy the
sounds really
product.
cool.
It sounds super cool until you do it and fail, and you're like, fuck,
Yeah,
I was
until you found out it
scammed.
actually sucks starting out.
Exactly, it does suck a lot. I think the expectation should be just different. The expectation should be something completely else. Like it should be, let me just do this for the next couple of years, and
Yeah.
I'm going to make more money than from my job for sure.
Yeah, because I also think that most people expect to make this work quickly. I mean, I made it work. I think it was quicker. After 3 months, I was starting to make real money, and after like 8 months, it was starting to get really, really good money. But I would say that it could take longer than that, and that's fine. It takes time to make a lot of money. Like it takes time to build up a skill. But I mean, it's if you have the right guidance, it's
Exactly. It's just doable. And it's way more doable than the alternative, which is
yes, exactly.
studying and then going to a job where there's no option, like literally no option at all to make 1 million a year. Within business, like in this online marketing bubble, you think in millions, like think in, all right, that's where it starts. So I think it's just a completely different world. And
Agree.
money doesn't seem real at some point because like all the prices which you see are not like they're not in relationship at all to how much you're making. They're designed for the system, which is not right anyways. If you're a beginner watching this right now, do organic. This is a Facebook interview, but in reality, like for a beginner, and if you would start out again, I would again like recommend you to do organic.
I love Facebook. Like that's where that's mostly what I want to do. But at this point, it's a no-brainer not doing TikTok
Mhm.
because I don't want to jinx it now. But on the main store, I haven't had so many bans and stuff. But when testing new products, I think I've ran through maybe 30 business managers, and I don't even know how many ad accounts now. And it's very very easy to give up when something like that happens. Like
Mhm.
it's very very easy. Uh, and with organic, that doesn't really happen like that. It doesn't. You don't have these annoying obstacles of
Mhm.
bans where you like if you don't have a business account like for Facebook, you can't do anything. Like you're just stuck.
Yeah, especially if it happens before success. Like, if it,
Yeah, that's also that's what I mean. Like you
Mhm.
would just give up. Like you wouldn't
Yeah.
keep going. Like because it's
If
annoying.
you get blocked right now, you understand. All right, it's worth it to get unblocked. So later on, I'm gonna make money again. Get unblocked to start. Like you get
Yeah,
blocked and you get unblocked just to be at zero again. You are most likely still gonna fail with the next product you test, and probably with the next 10 products you test because as a beginner you have no fucking clue what you're doing. So
exactly.
this is something which is just so much more difficult than organic, and the margins as well. Like the margins are also
I would have liked 50% of this. That would be great.
yes, yes, just ridiculous. So yeah, I mean, I really enjoyed the interview here. I think for everybody watching, if you're interested in getting started, click the link below, sign up for a call, we see if it's a good fit for you. I want to do an update interview maybe in a year or so where we hit the
Yeah,
five.
I think when we get to the first 100K profit, let's do
Yeah,
let's
100K
do an
profit
update.
or 5 mil a year, one of
Yeah.
those,
Yes.
which I assume is going to be both. But yeah,
Yeah, I think so.
good stuff, bro.